Subintel. We mentioned Express Scripts. And Cigna and the Clowns in Panic. Express Scripts made a point in a very pointed statement in the Wikipedia of Express Scripts, saying that scripts was a short for prescriptions. It was a rather odd addition to the narrative explaining about the company, so I checked the origin of scripts, or could it be scripts? Script is a written paper, a credit note, an IOU, a deed, a bond, and it also means cut, separate, and sift. Nice way to describe so-called medicine to make people heal. So a prescription is another bond, another credit note or IOU, and the deed or title is your body. So it's a possession spellcast, which they cut, separate, and then sift, which is wheat and chaff terminology. Still want to be using their prescriptions? Written paper, credit note, IOU, deed, and bond. And welcome to the world of increased data mine via AI, brought to you by Palo Alto, GoOgle, Microsoft, IBM, all of whom are subsidiaries of the NSA and CIA. And along with the other Clowns in America agents and his NATO-based open source public spying system, Robert David Steele. Perhaps you should all listen to the Clowns in Panic show again for a wider understanding of what they're up to. A positive thing coming out of Saudi Arabia. We highlighted some of the Middle Eastern treatment of females recently, but some are at least making steps, and in Saudi Arabia will no longer require restaurants to have separate entrances segregated by sex, according to the government. Now, previously it was mandatory to have one entrance for families and women and another for men on their own. And the restrictions had already quietly eased in practice, with many restaurants, cafes, and other meeting places no longer enforcing segregation. Now, this is part of a series of sweeping social reforms in Saudi Arabia that has been accompanied by an intensified crackdown on dissent. And earlier this year, a royal decree allowed Saudi women to travel abroad without a male guardian's permission. Who made these rules up? And in 2018, the Gulf Kingdom ended a decades-long ban also on female drivers. But some of the activists are still complaining that many laws discriminate against women remain in place, and several prominent women's rights advocates have been arrested, even as the government has made reforms. Thankfully, finally, it seems some common sense is beginning to prevail over there. Where are we next? Back to prescriptions and pharmaceuticals. As scrutiny of Purdue Pharma's role in the opioid epidemic, which has intensified during the past decade, its owners, who are members of the Sackler family, withdrew more than $10 billion from the company and were distributing it amongst trusts and overseas holding companies, according to a new audit commissioned by Purdue this week. And the amount is more than 8 times what the family took out of the company in the 13 years after OxyContin, which was its signature product, was approved in 1995. Now, the audit is likely to renew questions about how much the Sacklers should pay to resolve more than 2,800 lawsuits that seek to hold Purdue accountable for the opioid crisis. Now, the family has offered the Sackler family to contribute at least $3 billion in cash as part of a settlement to resolve thousands of lawsuits brought by state and local governments against Purdue. But 24 states, led by Massachusetts and New York, have refused to sign onto the agreement, arguing that the Sacklers should pay more. Sacklers, born in and born to, just saying. They should be in jail for mass manslaughter, is what really should happen. Money is no use to the people who are dead. None whatsoever.